What's up, bass players? Thanks for joining me here in the studio. Today I have a warm-up exercise that's good for any skill level, but is especially great for beginners. In fact, this is the first drill that I teach any of my beginning guitar or bass students in my private studio. It works great on both instruments. I'll start by just playing the exercise so you can hear it first and maybe try and figure it out by ear if you want and by watching the video, but I will break the whole thing down step by step and give you my tips and tricks. So let's dive in. That's all there is to it. You could continue this up the whole neck, shifting it and playing it through all the different positions, but I'm going to break it down just in first position. So all I'm doing is I'm playing 4 notes per string, and I'm starting on the lowest string. So my low E string, and I'm starting with fret number 1, and I'm just playing 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and 4th fret. And then I'm going to go up to the next string, do the exact same thing from there. 1st fret, 2, 3, 4. The next string, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the highest string, 1, 2, 3, 4. Once I get to that 4th note or the 4th fret on my highest string, I'm going to just come backwards and do 4, 3, 2, 1. Next string lower, 4, 3, 2, 1. Next string lower, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then the lowest string, 4, 3, 2, 1. Once I get to that 1st fret on my lowest string, the very next note I'm going to go to is the 3rd fret on that same string, and then I'm going to do the exact same drill from there, but doing it on frets 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I'm going to do next string up, next string up, next string up, come back down. I will typically do this drill, and I will start on any fret that has a dot. So for example, I'd start 3rd fret, do the whole thing, start 5th fret, do the whole thing, 7, 9, 12. You can take that. You could do every single fret if you want. I've just found that doing every single one doesn't always help. It's usually a little better to just kind of do 1, 3, 5, do the dots. The point of this is to warm up, and that'll be enough for you, I think. Now there's a few things you want to make sure you do as you're going through this drill, and the first thing is that in the fretting hand, you want to make sure you're playing with all 4 fingers. So 1st fret is 1st finger, 2nd fret is 2nd finger, 3rd fret 3rd, 4th 4th. The idea of this drill is to start working the coordination and building strength in all of your fingers, so that way when I go to play anything I want anywhere on the fretboard, it's all easily accessible because my fingers are all used to moving and kind of shifting around. As I'm using all 4, you don't have to worry about fretting the 1st fret as you're playing the 4th fret. That's a pretty big stretch. You don't have to worry about doing that for this one. I'm still staying low and close to the string, so I'm not letting my fingers come up and off the fretboard like this. They're still staying down, but I'm just kind of sliding along as I go. You can see how this finger over here, my index finger on my fretting hand, sort of just slides up with it. And then as I go back down, I'm right in shape and ready to play and can kind of move around that way. And then with my right hand, what I'm making sure I'm doing is I am using index and middle, and I'm alternating those. You can start either with M or with I, so middle or index. It's not really going to matter which one you start with, but just try and alternate each one. So you would do index, middle, so index, middle, index, middle, index, middle, etc. from there, or middle, index, middle, index. If you're playing with a pick, it will work the same way. I'm going to try and do downs and ups as I go. So down, up, down, up. I typically don't play bass with a pick. It's a very specific sound that I'm not usually going for. If that's your thing though, you can totally do this drill with that. Just make sure you're doing downs and ups. The last thing I want to just mention is where I'm actually placing my hand and how I'm striking the strings. I'm starting always by resting my thumb on one of my 2 pickups. If you just have one, do that. But especially if you're a beginner, make sure your thumb is just resting on that pickup, either one of the 2. It's not really going to matter for right now. And just make sure it just stays right there as you alternate through. And then you're going to come back down. That's a really good plant to start with. Again, like I said, it's going to change over time, but that'll be a really good place to start. The last thing I want to make sure I touch on is how I'm actually striking the strings. You want to make sure you're not getting underneath and kind of pulling away, or just like plucking through and plucking up and away from the string. I want to strike through. So if I'm on the lowest string with my thumb planted on the pickup, I'm going to strike through, and my finger is going to rest. It's going to be like that kind of a motion. My finger is going to actually rest on my thumb. And then as I go to the next string up, if I play a note on the A string, I'm going to rest on the E string. If I play a note on the D string, I'm going to rest on the A string. And if I play a note on the G string, I'm going to rest on the D string. So I'm always resting on the string lower. Eventually, over time, I might do some different things or kind of mess with that in various ways, but that'll be a really good place to start. That's where I have all my beginners starting. So if you're new to this instrument, start there, and you'll have a really solid foundation for what needs to come next. So that's it. Those are the basic tips I have for you for this just 4 notes on 1 string drill. I'll play through the whole drill now, so you can just join in with me and try and play all the way through in every single position as I'm going. I'll try and talk you through it as best I can. But thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the shed. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and... Shifting to 3rd fret. To 5th fret. Going to 9, that's 7, I lied. Now we're at 9.